It's probably why 98% of startups fail. They miss out on the most important part, which is the distribution. They will be so focused on everything all at once, they don't hone in on one specific skill.
Okay, so Benny, your business did $30 million last year and is on track to do $120 million in 2025.
This is something that has really changed my life. I need to build something great. I need to build something that nobody has seen before that changes the entire marketing industry. This year, I want to learn 10 times more than I learned last year. Last year, I think I was talking to you about him earlier, he's in Nigeria and he made $400,000 on glitchy.
In today's episode, I talked to Benny, and wow, what a pleasure. Benny owns a site called Glitchy. What Glitchy does is it's basically a union for marketers, and they get affiliate links and the best offers that marketers can use all in one place. But not only that, their platform has a ton of free education, and they even dedicate specific budgets for new members to be able to finance them starting to run paid ads. So if you hop onto Glitchy as a platform and you want to try running paid ads for affiliate links, they'll literally finance that for you so that you can learn how to do paid ads. And of course, they make money by providing these affiliate links, and then they just take a small portion of the revenue for basically getting you all these insane offers. But here's the thing, I know a lot of you guys watch me because of YouTube automation. A lot of people are actually making a ton of money on Glitchy through affiliate links purely through organic content. So they're not even running paid ads, they actually just have faceless social media pages where they're posting videos about products with links to it, and they're making tons of money. So it's essentially like drop shipping, but you don't have to do any of the setup for the website or anything like that yourself. He talks about how he's applied all these things and how he's now built up Glitchy so that all the users on Glitchy made $30 million combined in 2024 and are on track to do $120 million this year, which is mind-blowing. So this had an absolutely beautiful blend between faceless content, social media, marketing, sales, and actually starting a business, which is what he himself did. If that interests you, you'll love this episode. So without further ado, please enjoy the show. Boom. Okay, so Benny, your business did $30 million last year and is on track to do $120 million in 2025. This is called Glitchy. I didn't even hear about Glitchy until recently. What is Glitchy?
So, Glitchy is a marketing education platform, first and foremost. So people come to us, they don't exactly know how to do marketing. We teach them a ton of different ways.
Mm,
Um, and then we partner with companies, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of affiliate marketing. We do it a little bit different, but we partner with companies and we launch affiliate programs. And when I say we do it a little different, the reasoning behind that is so I've been a marketer for going on 7 years now. And before I started Glitchy, I was just an individual marketer. I had like e-commerce stores or I was doing affiliate myself. And the problem that always hit me was that when I would go to an affiliate network or somewhere to get an offer, they would always really lowball me, right? Like
mm,
I knew that my traffic was worth $1 per click, but they maybe were paying me 30 cents per click. So with Glitchy, we've had like a rare opportunity with the amount of people that have come to us to create somewhat of a union for marketers. What I mean by that is we actually only care about the marketers. I sorry if there's any brands listening to this. We only care about the marketers. So when we start working with a new company, we say, okay, so you're going to launch an affiliate program, but what giveaways are you going to do for our marketers? What educational material are you going to provide
mm,
for our marketers? What creatives? And then also the key is the pricing, right? So for instance, if a marketer is running an offer at some random affiliate network, they might get, let's use the same example, 30 cents per click. But they come to us and we go to them and we say, hey, we represent 150,000 marketers. So
yeah, so your bargaining power is so much higher than if you're just one dude.
exactly. And then on the tail end of Glitchy, we partner with marketing tech platforms. So when you go in our app, you'll see different tools that can help you. We provide financing. So When someone comes to us and they want to run paid ads, we'll actually give them virtual cards to start spending. A lot of people come to us and they don't have starting capital. So
Wow.
that's awesome. And then we also have like in-house engagement tech, which helps boost the conversion rate on the videos that they're running, as well as on organic posts. It helps
Mhm.
with boosting the call to action, the
Mhm.
CTR as well.
Right. So real quick, if I was like starting day one as a marketer, why would go to Glitchy instead of like, I don't know, trying to do my own e-commerce store and, set up. I guess the difference is you have to set up every single thing if you're going to, make your own store, versus Glitchy is just you get to just focus on making the actual creative and driving conversions.
Well, it's interesting. So with e-commerce, because I did it for several years before I started pivoting into affiliate. It's it's difficult because unless you have the perfect formula, um, and you have a really good supplier relationship, so you're getting a really good cost on your goods, uh, and unless you're a good marketer, it's pretty difficult to have a margin for profitability.
Hmm.
And that's not to say, like, I was at an e-com event yesterday. There's a ton of people crushing it. That's not to say that people can't do it. It's just that with a lot of the offers that we promote on Glitchy, um, they're apps or they're lead gen forms or
Hmm.
they're things that don't immediately require the end consumer to go in and put in a credit card. Whenever you're asking somebody to pull out their wallet and put in their card, there's a lot of friction there, right? Because it's also like, how much do I really want this product? Do I trust this company? Right. So,
Hmm.
um, and on top of that, I will say this, right? So if the example isn't e-commerce, let's say it's Hulu, right? Why would you go and try to get $50 million in funding to create your own Hulu, take months to do it, just to get to a point where it's like, okay, the customers already have a Hulu. When
Yeah.
instead, you could pull an affiliate link for Hulu and you can make money right away promoting it.
Today, exactly.
People already want Hulu. They already know what Hulu is. So it's a lot easier to market things that people already know about.
That's so true. I do a decent amount of affiliate marketing on my channels, and it's like a lot of the softwares I talk about. Yeah, there's just no way I would be able to do that or make like
If it was
I
your
can't
whole
build. Yeah, I can't build a software like.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. It took us years, man. There were so many failures along the way. It took a long time, and it was I was banging my head against the wall. Even now, I still have times it's like that, right?
Mhm.
It's like that's being an entrepreneur. And I actually what I commonly tell our marketers is that when they get to a certain level, they're going to go start their own company, and they should. They definitely should. I think affiliate is a great way to get off the ground. It's pure cash flow, right?
Mhm.
You learn what I would say is the most important skill in the business realm, which is marketing. Somebody who has a great
Yep.
startup and a great product, but isn't great at marketing, probably might fail unless they find a great marketing partner. It's probably why 98% of startups fail is because they miss out on the most important part, which is the distribution.
Mhm. If you had to restart, would you have started day one with affiliate marketing?
Yes, 100%. I'll tell you why. Um, when I did e-commerce, I was always doing drop shipping. So I never built a real brand. I never had like a US warehouse. I never
Mhm.
had like, any retail connections. So for me, it was just a cash flow thing. And
Mhm.
affiliate just made a lot more sense. It was significantly higher uh, profit margins, and it was significantly easier. There's no product cost. You don't have to worry about like customer support. You don't have to worry about any of these things because it's all handled by the company you're working with. And if on top of that, you're also making significantly more, which
Mhm.
again, like I mentioned, apps, lead gen forms, these things are a lot easier to market, then yeah, it's definitely a great starting place, 100%.
Mhm. Yeah, I started my first entrepreneurial side hustle ever was drop shipping because I was in my room. I didn't know what to major in college, and I was like, all right, well, if I'm if I'm gonna stay undecided, I should figure out at least some way to make money. And so I tried drop shipping. And it was actually decently successful. I think I made in the first month like $400. But what I think is really good about doing something like drop shipping is that you get areas of expertise in so many, or not expertise, but like you get to dip your feet in a bunch of different areas of business, like building a website, optimizing conversions, organic, paid ads, depending on how you go.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
you're
that was really
100%
valuable for
right.
me. But yeah, like the first thing that I realized after doing all those things, the first thing I saw instantly that like I had the biggest connection with was when I posted a video and I got like 100K views on an organic video and it started driving sales. I was like, oh my God, that's like what I really want to hone in on. And that's what affiliate marketing allows you to do, is just to hone in on just that aspect of it.
You're 100% right, and I do agree with that. That's actually a phenomenal counter. Um, when I did e-commerce, I learned every part of it. I learned
Hmm.
the customer support. I learned fulfillment. I learned how to negotiate in different areas. I learned how to optimize my product pages, how to add upsells, how to add downsells.
Hmm.
Now, with some of those things, you still do it with affiliate, right? So, like for example, upsells. If you're collecting an email, you're collecting SMS, you have some form of retargeting, you can still upsell people. You can still send people in different directions after the fact, after they complete the initial purchase or
Yeah,
whatever the initial conversion point is. Um, but what I would say is that I think where a lot of e-commerce people fail is they will be so focused on everything all at once that exactly what you said, they don't hone in on one specific skill.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, so I'll give you an example of it, right? When I first started in e-commerce and marketing, um, I was testing different ad platforms, doing different stuff. But when I started to get well known, and also when I started to be, significantly more successful, was when I decided to become the best specifically at TikTok ads. It even got to the
100%.
point where I would run TikTok ads to other people's stores, not as an agency, just as me getting a percentage off of, because I didn't want to handle all the extra stuff. I wanted to focus on the one thing I was particularly really good at, which was the marketing.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I feel like, yeah, once you start seeing like all the different ways that you can make money and you find the one you like, get really, really, really fucking good at that before you ever go like, what else should I do? You know what I mean? Um, So, okay, I'm super interested in that. So, I've never actually gotten to a point where I ran paid ads. I've always kind of wanted to, cuz there's kind of this dream that exists, right? Where like when
Mm,
you have a high converting ad, you essentially just make like a factory where you could put in $1 and get out $2 or $3 or whatever amount. And that's like I think should be every entrepreneur's dream. Now, I've kind of got to replicate that a little bit with scaling faceless content and scaling faceless pages, because we can go, all right, if we know our average video makes, $20 in ad revenue and we could pay an editor $3 to make this, we kind of have that machine running, but it doesn't always stay up. Tell me like what the best strategies you've seen with users on Glitchy do to just get like insanely high converting ads, and for what offers were they for? Like I know you have, the lead gen offers or the mobile download offers.
yeah, so it's it's a lot of it is all over the board, right? So like first, let's break apart the marketing. So
Mm,
a lot of our marketers do TikTok ads because it's what's hot, and CPM prices haven't gone up like they did on Facebook or other ad platforms, as well as the high converting ads on TikTok are usually pretty native ads, right? So they're ones that like they look like another video on the feed,
right, right.
which a lot of our user base is the user base that uses TikTok every day. So
Hmm.
they're very acquainted with that style. It's very easy for them to market to
Yeah.
people on that
And
platform.
to record, right? Because they don't need a high budget to make a, video just of them holding their phone and talking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's actually a very small percentage of Glitchy that records themselves for their videos. A
Hmm.
lot of people, they'll either pay UGC creators, they can use AI creatives, which we have integrated into our app. They also will take clips from different places, like open source places across the internet, and turn those into high converting creatives. Uh,
Hmm.
And it's really interesting because as we've seen our platform grow and our user base grow and the way that they market change, we've seen a lot of diversification. It's really spread. It started as a
Mhm.
TikTok ad centered community. Then the next phase was organic marketing. So we had a
Mhm.
ton of people on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube posting shorts and reels and different videos, and essentially putting the link in the video as a
Mhm.
means to get the end consumer to actually like go directly to the website, which
Right.
sounds counterintuitive, right? You'd assume link in bio would be the best way to do it, but funny enough, a very small percentage of people actually click on the account and go to the bio. So
Mhm.
you do have a way higher
Yeah.
percentage clicks when you put the link in the video. And then we've seen a lot of diversification out to Facebook as well. So, it's a slightly older demographic. But funny enough, the creatives that are working on TikTok have started to really, really work on Instagram. So, all the stuff that
Hmm.
maybe died out on TikTok 6 months ago, a year ago, now we're seeing it really, really start skyrocketing on Facebook. Um, Now, if we were to talk about offers, so a lot of our traffic comes from app installs, right? So we partner with apps. Maybe they just raised VC money, and they're looking to have people install their app, complete in-app purchases, play through a game, right?
Right.
So
And real quick, do apps before they give you whatever, Glitchy's commission will be, if or whatever the amount that you can pay people per download, do they have in mind like how much they know an average sign up will make?
yes, 100%.
Mhm.
So that's the thing about most of the apps that we work with. If they raise VC money, they already have all those core metrics, so it makes it a lot
Right.
easier.
So those apps know like, okay, the lifetime value of anyone who downloads our app on average will be like $15. So if we can get a download for $10, we'll still, keep $5 profit. Okay.
Yeah, well, and I'll give you a funny example. I don't know how the YouTube guidelines are, but I use this example sometimes when I'm talking to people.
Hmm.
So we put a lot of tracking in place as far as the in-app purchases, as far as different things, not to limit our marketers because we're paying our marketers on a CPI, which is
Hmm.
per install. So they get paid per install regardless of the in-app purchases. But essentially, we decide which marketers we're going to trust to push the maximum amount of volume possible to certain apps based on the quality that they're pushing. And the example is,
Okay.
let's say a marketer runs a really high converting ad, that it's got great ad text, everything is amazing. That probably will yield a ton in in-app purchases over a 7-day, 14-day, 30-day window for the app. But let's
Hmm.
say somebody runs an ad and they say, download this app and you'll see Addison Rae's tits. Well, that's also going to get a lot of downloads. But are those downloads going to complete in-app purchases? Are they going to keep playing the game?
Hmm.
No, they're going to open it up. They're going to say, "Oh, no tits, uninstall." Right. So that's a perfect example
Hmm.
of why we have to put a lot of checks in place. And yes, the apps, they have all that data, right? But we've found ourselves in a lot of instances having to babysit them to make sure that they're getting enough quality because
Yeah.
we know later on, there maybe 3, 6 months down the line, they're gonna look and they're gonna be like, "Oh, wait, if we don't check
Hmm.
the quality, they're gonna check and they're gonna say, 'Oh, wait, this wasn't backing out for us.'" And then it's a problem, right? It's a lot
Yeah.
bigger of a problem because maybe by then we already pushed several million to them, you know?
Yeah, which, as far as I could tell, right, this all could have been avoided if Apple allowed commission or like tracking, but they no longer, or maybe they did at one point, or they don't anymore. But I'm pretty sure now, like, Apple doesn't allow affiliate links to apps or to
Well,
in-app
so they
purchases, and so
do.
like,
They do. You just there's workarounds and different things, but
mm,
the primary thing for tracking, we use AppsFlyer, so we
mm,
have access to all the data to make sure that the apps that we're working with are actually, they're not running into issues, they're not having people download for some tits, like that's it's
yeah,
all there. Um, but yeah, so that's How's that?
Okay, wow. Okay, so let's say I was gonna make a video, or like let's say I was like, all right, glitchy. This sounds sick. And by the way, I wanted to also mention, so like I've been at some other like affiliate platforms. Now, normally when I do affiliate marketing, I'll actually typically just look up the website or the tool or the software, whatever that I'm trying to talk about. I'll just type in software affiliate link, and then normally if they have one, it'll show up, and it'll show up like number one on Google. But sometimes they don't have it. So I'm in something called like Partner Stack, which has like a bunch of different affiliate offers. Now, what I want to bring attention to is that like Partner Stack has really no good explanation on how to make good videos that will convert well. Now, I feel like from me making content for a really long time and pushing softwares that I use, and also talking about softwares that I've used in the past, those I can talk about really well and convert well with. But like if I didn't know what I was doing, I would have no way to hop on the Partner Stack affiliate network and make money from it. Glitchy actually has like a ton of videos and a ton of education that goes along with it. So all of that to preface, if I was going to try to make an ad that was, not only high converting in terms of downloads, but also high lifetime value in terms of high likelihood for the customers to make in-app purchases, what would an example of like a high converting mobile app ad or organic video look like?
So, um, it's interesting. It really does depend on what vertical you're in. So, a lot of the apps that we work with are reward apps, right? So, download this app and you can play games and make money, right? And with that, it's the retention is quite a bit easier. If you can get somebody to start playing and start earning, very likely they're going to keep re-engaging with that. Um,
Mm,
and an example of an ad for that, a lot of times would be somebody, in a video saying, "Hey, oh my God, I've had this game for a month, or I've had this app for a month, and I earned such and such," right? Um, and it's more so drilling in the fact of longevity. Um, but
mm,
likewise, we've also seen the oddest things convert. Like I can't
mm.
even lie about that, right? We've seen people who had a video of someone throwing cash in the air for one of these same kind of apps saying, "Oh my God, I downloaded this app. Look at all this money I made." And that has had a ton of in-app purchases and it's yielded a ton of lifetime revenue. So
What?
and
That's so strange.
that's why we handled the tracking, right?
Mhm,
Because the oddest things end up converting really high. I'm not gonna get too far into Traffic Junkie or what Traffic Junkie is if you're familiar, but
mm,
a it's an adult space ad platform, right? The highest converting ad on Traffic Junkie several years ago was literally a picture of a gallon of milk. No context, nothing. That was and it yielded
What?
a ton of revenue, right?
Oh my.
You can look this up, you can check that this is a real thing.
Mhm,
So, someone made a YouTube video about it. I forget the guy's name, but so I think like, part of it is depending on what the offer is, right? If it's an e-commerce product or if it's a product that requires any kind of additional steps, like for example, some of our lead gen offers require somebody to, go through multiple steps in order to get whatever the desired outcome is, which
mhm,
usually there's either an incentive at the start or it's telling them sign up here and we'll give you the best auto insurance rates or those kind of things.
mhm.
Um, but instead of just telling them sign up, put in your email, if you in your ad text, if you tell them step 1, do this, step 2, do this, it does yield significantly higher
Mm.
conversion rate on the front end and the back end.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, that's hilarious. Although at first I'm like, okay, that's crazy that like a milk or a, whatever can just do that well. On the other hand, when I think about marketing, a lot of the times I think about something that uh, a necessary component of marketing is standing out from everything else. So sometimes the stupid, it's I think it actually probably is a pattern in marketing that the stupidest, most outlandish, bizarre like things work because it's not what everyone else is doing. And as long as you can do something that's not what everyone else is doing, that'll stand out and well, it'll convert maybe it'll draw more attention at least.
Oh
That's
yeah.
true. In terms of actually retaining customers, that's the surprising part, I guess. But yeah, I was gonna say I always see for mobile apps, I always see these ads where like, especially for like games, it'll be like mom and then dad, and like the mom will like suck and like be doing everything wrong on the app. It'll be a really simple game where it's like, you just have to go to the green one instead of the red one, and people just mess it up every
Yeah.
time.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure that's on purpose.
Oh yeah, of course. It makes so that is a really interesting example. I personally, my feed is 80% ads because I engage with all the ads that I see, just so I'm always up to speed. And a lot of our marketers do that kind of ad. But I also just see them a lot from individual apps or that kind of thing. And I think with that specific example, I actually love that one. It's like it's so easy for the customer to get like they're just getting frustrated. They're
Yeah.
looking at it. They're like, "Oh my god, this why did that guy not go there?" But then at the same time, they're looking at it and they're saying, "Oh, well, this would be a satisfying app to play. It looks easy." And then they
Hmm.
download the app. And
Exactly.
if they actually want to play the game that they saw in the ad, they have to complete in-app purchases, get to a
Mhm.
certain level. It gets cut off after 30 seconds of gameplay, or the moment that they die it says watch an ad to revive. Like these
Mhm.
are all in-app monetization points that really help in generating the back end
Yeah.
revenue past that initial frustration.
Yeah. No, I think it's so effective. I'm sure it's worked on me in the past. It's because like it rage baits really well to grab my attention. And then it's like, I think what I'm really thinking as the customer is like, I could fucking do that easily. So then I actually have to download the app to like prove that I can do it and actually play it. And that's where I probably get hit with the in-app ads and monetization of whatever form.
Well, before we move on from that,
Mhm.
I've wondered something, and I haven't checked this anything like that, but I bet Subway Surfer had something to do with do you know like the split screen organic videos where on the top it's Subway Surfer, on the bottom it's Subway
Mhm.
Surfer, like somebody like they're like jumping through the thing, and on the top
Yeah,
AI rage bait thing. Like,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder if Subway Surfer had something to do with that marketing, because it's got to be doing wonders for their app. Like it's
Yeah.
just like wow, like they're everywhere.
Yeah. No, honestly, just the ASMR aspect of some apps probably is what can make a lot of them viral. I see the same exact stuff with, Temple Run, Minecraft, like anything that someone can just passively watch. It's like, yeah. I always wondered if you could even work in organic ads for apps through doing a split screen method.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. I've
Yeah.
seen them so many times. I feel like it
Yeah.
would
Is
work.
Subway Surfers paying to get their thing?
Yeah, something I've seen recently is in like they'll have a video and then they'll have a goon corner like up in the corner. It's like some like random video, usually of a girl, and they just call it the goon corner.
Oh god, I haven't seen that yet, but well,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe my feed is a lot more brain raw than yours is.
yeah, well, yeah. Speaking of how you said also yours is more ad focused, I remember a while ago seeing Alex Hormozy say in a video that like he he suggested to turn off premium on any sort of thing that you have so that you are forced to engage with ads every single day and see what's working. Is that
That's smart.
do you
Yeah,
agree with that?
I haven't heard that quote or that methodology, but yeah, 100%. I mean, I I I think when I'm working and I have like a really long day, and I just open up my feed and I'm just like looking at stuff, it the moment I see an ad, I'm just pulled right back into work. And I think it
Mhm.
does work wonders for you as long as you aren't the consumer, as long as
Yeah.
seeing the ad as somebody who's like also a marketer, I think it can work wonders for you.
Mhm. Yeah, I kind of view my TikTok feed as the same way now because I guess I do a lot more organic. Like when I started, I was only posting on TikTok, nothing on YouTube. And so every time I went on TikTok, I would always be like, okay, what did this guy do that caused me to keep watching, you know? And I think it's the same with ads. It's like, well, what did this guy, did I want to buy from this guy? No. Okay, bad ad. Why? And then did I want to? Okay, yes, good ad. Why? And then just replicate that. And like you're low key passively learning every day. Like,
Yeah. Awesome, man.
yeah. Okay, well, then I also wanted to get back into, okay, so we got through, a little bit of ads with like CPIs. I wanted to go a little bit into the organic space now as well. Um so one thing you mentioned earlier was that you don't put link in bios, or like they're not as well converting as literally just text. Now, I think this is actually just a platform wide trend. Because I noticed ManyChat is getting like huge, and I think it's just because people are sick of like the CTA, just like, oh, click on my link. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But if it's like, oh, comment the word blank, then people are all happy to do it.
Yeah. So ManyChat is a phenomenal tool. Now, if you use it in certain ways, Instagram can flag your account. I couldn't tell you why. I know it's not against their TOS, but they do flag pretty commonly for
Mm,
accounts with ManyChat. So definitely make sure. Well, I think in that instance you appeal it and you basically always get it back very quickly. But the best marketing way I've seen is like, you'll have people commenting something specific that will continue pushing your video to the right audience, and at the same time, whenever they comment that word, the many chat automation kicks in and it DMs them whatever you're trying to
yeah.
pass to them. Whether
Mm,
it's you want them to sign up for, I don't know, an email list, or whether there's a specific offer. But where a lot of people fall off with many chat is, um, so you can have really long, in-depth retargeting funnels built out in ManyChat. A lot of people just use it for the first initial message, but you can pretty much
mm,
message those same people every single day after they initially opt in something different. And that's a very useful way to
right.
do your marketing. Because I mean, if, for example, even if it's the same product every day, it might get annoying to some people after the seventh, eighth day. And as long as maybe you have an opt out sequence or something, so nobody's like blocking you or reporting you or what.
Mm,
Um, but it really can re-engage people to continuously come back and either complete different offers or complete the same offer. Because I mean, think about it. You have an e-com store and you get a 98% drop off because you have a 2% conversion rate. So
mm,
how do you get that 98% to come back? 9 times out of 10, or probably significantly more than that, they're never going to see you again.
mm.
Um, so the key is to continuously be utilizing these retargeting strategies that you have within your organic marketing or even within your paid ad marketing.
Yeah, that's fascinating because essentially you're delivering the same message but in a different way, and everyone responds differently to different ways of speaking and different copy, I guess. And so you're trying all of them until you get at least one that works ideally. I
Yeah.
saw yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. So back in the day, I had a really good many chat automation. I just want to mention this where I had all of these delays between messages. So
Mhm.
someone would DM me, and then it would have a 2-minute delay. It would respond back, and it would say, "Hey, what's up, man?" And then they would reply, whatever they reply, then it would still, after 2 minutes, reply back with something else. And it seemed to them like they were really talking to the person on the account, and it had a
Mm.
very, very high conversion rate.
Wow. Hmm. So the more like human you can be, the more probably
Yeah.
high
Yeah,
converting that is.
100%. I mean, people like engaging with real people. We see it all the time. People that, instead of doing an organic Instagram reel, someone that goes to a Facebook group and posts something, or someone who uses any of these apps like OfferUp or whatever, and it's more personal,
Mhm.
they end up having, the craziest conversion rate you've ever seen, because the people that actually click are not just trusting in the product, but they're trusting in the person marketing it to them.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah. This whole concept reminds me of a fascinating video I saw. You know the app Duolingo? So a huge aspect of Duolingo that I was completely unaware of before I saw this video is like how they send out notifications. So they have like a huge algorithm, like A/B testing different notifications for every single person and seeing which ones really work the best in terms of getting people back on the app. And that was like what they said, like essentially because they don't force users into like any paid thing. It's always like a freemium model. And so what they said was they were able to actually monetize from their paid users really well by using all their free users basically as guinea pigs to collect data on which notifications get people back on the app the most, you know?
Interesting. Duolingo
And
has a phenomenal retargeting strategy. I've seen
mhm,
it. I paid for their premium. I was trying to
mhm.
learn some other.
You got retargeted, yeah.
Yeah, I dropped off, but they kept trying to bring me back.
Yeah. I think they said one of the best converting ones that they found was when they show the version of Duolingo that's like the dead skeleton guy and is like the bird has died, like come revive it. And people just back to this human aspect. People felt so bad that they would go back on the app.
It reminds me of sushi. You ever heard of sushi? It's like a it's like a sushi,
Hmm.
little sushi guy. You take care of it with a friend.
Mm,
The
yeah.
only way to get it for free is if you invite a friend, so you're both taking care of this sushi together.
Hmm.
But if a single one of you forgets to take care of it for a day, it dies. So
Oh my god.
then you have to pay to revive it, or you have to watch an ad to revive it. But since it's between you and that friend, and it's like this cute little sushi guy, then of course you're gonna pay
Yeah.
whatever.
Fascinating. Okay, so I also know that with retargeting, not only I guess ManyChat, a lot of people I didn't even know that you could do that, but I did know that you can do retargeting with ads, right? So can you talk to me a little bit about that as well? Like I know sometimes people do like one campaign for like awareness, and then based on how people interact with the website, they'll run like a retargeting campaign for the people who clicked on it already.
Yeah, one of the highest converting ad campaigns I ever ran was exactly like that. I
Hmm.
I had a starting campaign where I would just get people to see the product. Anyone that liked, commented, shared, or watched the video for over 6 seconds, I retargeted them again with an influencer using that product. And
Mm.
that one had no link on it, right? Which seems counterintuitive. It was just cheaper in terms of ad spend to not have a link.
Hmm.
Running a direct like reach campaign, it's significantly cheaper than a traffic campaign.
Hmm.
And then the final step, anyone that watched that video for more than 6 seconds, which now we're a really small group at the funnel, I would target them with an offer. So like get 50% off. And this is viable in pretty much any vertical, right? Like and by the time somebody sees a product or service 3 times, that's really like as long as they've engaged with it, they've watched it, they've shown that they're interested in it. That's really when there there's a very high likelihood that they're going to
Hmm.
be
So
buy.
in those first two ads, was there even any way for the person to buy?
The first one there is
Mhm.
because if let's say you break even on the first campaign, just
Yeah.
from
Now
a
you
certain
got awareness for free basically and know who
exact,
you can
and now
retarget. Yeah.
yeah, and now anyone that comes through you retargeting them, it's only
Mm.
going to be
Mm.
profitable.
That's fascinating. I saw this guy in e-commerce. I think he goes by Mark Builds Brands. He has like a very kind of unfiltered YouTube channel like I do. But he talks about how like he kind of considers everyone the way everyone is doing drop shipping is like wrong. They run a paid ad and it goes right to the website. And he says like this is like trying to, you know, uh bring a girl to bed with no foreplay. You know? It's like the person's not ready yet. And what he does is he normally does a funnel where like paid ad to like a pre-sales page where like there's no way to buy. They have to just get through, a 4-minute video going deep into the problem that the person has. And then only after that, and like maybe one page after that as well, does he actually even allow you to buy. And at that point, the person's pain has been so intensified and they're so deeply entrenched that, yeah, even if you lose like some people along that way, once they get there, they're so much more willing to convert and can be upsell sold so much more because of that. Is that
Oh,
definitively true?
I would say so. I mean, and it's with everything you're running, it's really different. And you always have to keep in mind who you're targeting, who's actually purchasing. And you don't always want to run an ad directly targeting that group because that can get very expensive. Um, a lot of times you end up running a broad campaign, but you either turn anyone who might not be the target consumer into the target consumer
Mhm,
by kind of like what you mentioned, like gradually introducing them to the product,
mhm,
or you run a broad campaign that is something that essentially you know that um, a certain percentage of your target consumers are going to see it anyway. But like that being said, right, we talked about how weird ads end up working. Um, when I did e-commerce, I would have 10 different landing pages for the same product. And what I found was most of the time, the really bare bones, like website that looked like it was from 1999 was
mhm.
usually the highest converting. Um, and I think the reasoning is just that it's sometimes pretty graphics and nice things on a landing page can distract people. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I think especially on social media, like if you have more than like a headline text, I already am not reading the rest of that. You know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's hard because to put yourself in the shoes of your end consumer can be very difficult
mhm,
because as an
definitely.
entrepreneur, you see everything through the lens of being the marketer, right? You see it through the lens of things that you've seen work in the past, but it does take a lot of effort to actually try to see it from the way that your consumer does. Because, like you said, you might not read past the headline text. I'm the same way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the target end consumer for whatever the product is the same.
Yeah,
Maybe they prefer that.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe they prefer a video. Maybe they prefer text. It's all depends.
yeah, that's the
Interesting.
beauty of it. That's why marketing has intrigued me and kept me like locked in for the last going on 7 years, is
Hmm.
because it's so incredibly interesting to me seeing how the things that you put out can influence people to complete actions. Uh,
Yeah,
it's almost like, digital propaganda in a way.
yeah. I think it's one of the most interesting ways to actually be able to make money while studying human behavior. Essentially,
Oh yeah, 100%.
like
That's the fun.
you're yeah, exactly. You're figuring out how the hell do people actually work while and if you predict correctly and if you get better at it, you make more money, which is just like bet, you know? Um okay, would you also want to show me now cuz I think I'm going to ask a lot more questions about how you like scaled your business soon. But I think we've, touched a lot on actually glitchy from a consumer perspective or sorry, from a user perspective. Could you show me like, some stories from from people actually in glitchy and like the successes that they've had?
Yeah, so I can share my screen here. Just open up Discord. Um, so I'll just show you, our user success channel, where a lot of our users post success that they've had on our platform. Hold on. Okay, so this is our user success channel. So this is what yesterday, and then below that's today. So, this guy, he had to earn 6,000 to get the shirt, 12,000 to get the hat. Then this guy, what, February 12th, he did 44,000 in earnings on Glitchy. Let's see. $100
That's
days. He had a
insane.
6K day, bagged 10K week. The help of these guys.
So are most of these people who are getting to these crazy numbers doing it through ads?
This guy's organic, from what I
Dang.
can see. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good mix of both.
Mhm.
You know, obviously, like, oh yeah, this guy hit 100K. Um, it's a good mix of both, and you know what we found is that uh, you know, although a lot of people come to us without starting capital, if they want to run ads, since we finance them, it makes it a lot easier for them. Um, but additionally, since we have quite a lot of people that come to us, and you know they maybe have never tried marketing before, and you know you have to just earn a little bit in order to qualify for glitchy capital a lot of the time. Sometimes
Mhm.
you know we'll send out notifications to new guys that just came on, like, hey, you've been pre-approved for glitchy funding. Which, by the way, I say funding and it sounds like a big scary word, but all it is that people sign up, we give them virtual cards, they use those to run ads. Let's say they spend $1,000 and they make 2,500. We pay them out the $1,500 in profit, and we retain the $1,000 in ad spend that they spent throughout that week. Um,
Mm.
and so there's no fees on it or anything. It's just, you know, we have good checks in place to ensure that nobody's going to try to,
Like,
you know, abuse that, right?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, just spend the money on, like, themselves or something. Like,
yeah, so what this guy did 5,000, this guy did 100K. This is the trophy that they get when
that's
they
insane.
um yeah, it says their name on it. It's got like a little card, welcome to super affiliate. Yeah, and so on. So, you know, we have quite a lot of guys, you know, they're buying cars, they're buying different stuff. I've had see, to me it's been an amazing thing seeing it, like, you know,
Yeah, no,
so
that must be, like, the most fulfilling thing ever, like, seeing people like, for me with my channel, it's the same exact thing, like, when I see someone come to me and they're like, for example, there was this opportunity to make extra money with music that I brought to a lot of my viewers, and I have people come and DM me and they're like, "Dude, like, thank you, like, this helped me make, like, an extra $3,000 this month, and, like, if you had not showed me this, I would have had no idea this existed, like, thank you so much." And, like, when you hear something like that, you're like, "Dude,
it's the most
thank you."
fulfilling thing. It's actually the reason why I do it. So,
Mm,
if I could touch on how glitchy started for a second. So,
yeah.
a few years ago, nobody knew who I was. I didn't know who anyone was in the e-commerce marketing realm, right? So, I wanted to grow my network, meet more people. So, I started joining a few communities and I just started providing free value on how to run TikTok ads. Um, and once I got to a certain point where enough people knew who I was, I actually, in the middle of the night, I found a glitch on TikTok ads where essentially uh, someone would do a $50 campaign budget. They would add about $50,000 worth of ad groups within that campaign. But since the budget was only $50 on the campaign, it couldn't spend more than that. It would spend the $50, but then every time they added an additional $5 or $10 to the campaign budget, it would blow up because every ad group would try to start spending at once and they were all inter competing. So it was almost like that $5 or $10 was the equivalent of five to $10,000 in ad spend. And being the I, the non-traditional person that I am,
Mhm.
I just, instead of keeping it to myself and quietly making 10 million or whatever I could have made on it, I
Yeah.
decided, hey, I'm in this group chat with all these guys that are doing TikTok, and I just posted it just to
Mhm.
see what would happen. I posted it on a PDF with my Instagram tag all over it, and within a couple of days, and like it was everywhere. Like every other Discord was posting it. They were sharing it.
Mhm.
Like yo, the Benny glitch. That's what they were calling it. And
That's sick.
it was cool, man. I got a lot of followers on Instagram from it. I decided to create my own community. I called it Glitchcord. So for about
Oh, and
2 years,
that's wow, okay.
yeah, so for about 2 years, it was just a community where I would find weird glitches on ad platforms, and I would just post them in there for free, right? Didn't
Mhm.
monetize off of it, just I don't know, it was fun for me.
Mhm.
I couldn't tell you why I did that. There was really no, like, end, goal of it. I just I got so excited, like the social currency of like, "Yo, man, we're winning!" Like, "Oh my god!" Like, I got
Yeah.
really excited about that. So, as it evolved into glitchy, um, I said, "All right, well, I want to." Because now I've helped them on the marketing side. I want to help people in glitchy on more than just the marketing side. I want to help them on the product side. I want to help them on
Mm.
actually making marketing easier, getting the starting capital that they need.
Yeah.
Eh,
Did a lot
That's
of people not have their own store or ability to create their own store, or not know how to do it, and that's when you were like, I need to do this.
Yeah, man. And even if they did, it's like, they
Mm.
were seeing way bigger numbers. So they were it, and I started it with a case study. I showed them, here's how much I spent, here's how much I made, scrolled through, actually very similar to what you guys did. And
Mhm.
it was kind of, it took off from there. And back to the main point, I've seen, like, we had a guy last year, and I think I was talking to you about him earlier. He's in Nigeria, and he made $400,000 on Glitchy. Now he's got 3 Mercedes sitting in his driveway in Nigeria. We've had a guy in Estonia who was sleeping at a hostel, and he went all the way from there to buying a house with the money he made from Glitchy. So it's seeing that is the ultimate motivation for me.
Mhm.
It's honestly like whenever I'm struggling, working all the time, like having like a tough time with something, banging my head against the wall, I go and I scroll through our success channel. I scroll through my DMs and I'm right back at it. It
Mhm.
keeps me going. That's what I do it for. And also, I got taken advantage of so much as a lone wolf marketer. So
Mhm.
I just strive to help the new guys coming in however we can.
Dude, that's crazy because I feel like it's actually such a similar story for me. Because my third video on my unfiltered channel, which is now what I consider like so far my biggest personal success, was me because I was looking at the YouTube automation space, and I'm like, every other video is like some dude saying like, oh, do YouTube automation, you can make, and then they don't even show the channel that they own. They aren't even being like, sometimes they'll show how much it makes, but that's about it. And I was like, bro, no, what? Like, obviously, this is like not how you teach or help people. So I made a video and I was like, non guru explains. And the first thing I did, I was like, yeah, you probably read the title and you're like, this is going to be another one of those videos. Nope. Here's the channels that I own and here's how much they make. And I did that as the first thing. And the response to that was absurd. And I've just been riding that ever since.
Yeah, well, so when I started Glitchy, I had 2 big taglines that I was really trying to hammer in, right? We're gonna beat business college and we're gonna beat the gurus, right?
Mm,
So let's say someone's charging $2,000 for a course for YouTube automation. Either they spent so much time focused on the value aspect of it that they probably won't ever see the light of day. You probably won't ever hear about their course because they're so focused on actually doing the stuff within it.
mm,
And then usually they stop doing their course because they realize it's not worth it for them because they thought they were going to make so much more off of it. Or somebody who has a course that everyone's buying that puts all of their time into getting people to buy the course. Their stuff, if it actually has value, the value is going to get oversaturated and it's going to stop working. And you can't count on them to keep coming back and keep providing more value. It's not going to happen. You paid them
mm.
$2,000 one time. After they deliver the course to you, maybe they hop on one consulting call, they're gone. You're never talking to them again. That's
Yeah.
that's like the common theme that it's always bothered me. And it sucks because like I know a lot of these people, and I know how they a lot of the time, actually most of the time, they don't actually do their own stuff at all.
Mm,
They're so focused on the content, so focused on blowing up. So with Glitchy, somewhere along the line, we created a squad program. Essentially, the way it works is the squads get 5% of the earnings of the people that are within their squad. And since it's a percentage basis, it's not a flat fee, it's not a monthly recurring, they're incentivized to actually provide real recurring
Hmm.
balance to people. And I think that's the way it should be. I
Yeah.
think that's the only way you ensure that people are actually successful, which if you're looking at a congruent system of like, people coming in, trying to learn something and going out and actually being successful in that, I
Yeah.
very rarely have seen a course work in that instance.
How would the world be different if every course seller had, if the only way that a course seller could make money from their course is off of commission based on the person doing that side hustle?
I think it would completely change the number of people who are actually successful. Look at some of these communities, hustlers, universities, whatever.
Hmm.
Like there's no real value. I actually
Hmm.
got kicked out of there for correcting one of the moderators because he said something wrong about TikTok ads one time, and I was like, no, it's not. It's this way instead. Um, but I think it would definitely help a lot. Um, And, as long as there was a streamlined way to do it, because like, there's a reverse side, right? Like when I first gave the glitch out to people, I didn't ask for anything. But people came up to me and they promised 20% of their profit. And one
Hmm.
of them went on to make $2 million. And you know what I didn't get?
Hmm.
Anything. 0, right? So, like, don't there's the reverse side of it, right? So there has to,
Yeah.
something just to make sure that they're actually guaranteed to earn off of
Hmm.
whatever, if they're gonna be putting in the effort of actually providing the value.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that's always such a, like, helping someone for free. People are always so reluctant to, and I like to tell the story of the way that I met my co-founder for us starting a bunch of these faceless channels that we've been able to make a bunch from. Is because I was making, like, I was early in my journey of, making videos, and I was just showing people. I had a TikTok where I would just explain, like, how I made money from, I don't know if you saw, I'm like a juggler. So I post a bunch of juggling videos, right? And I would just I had like an entrepreneurship TikTok where I would just post videos and explain like how I would go viral on the juggling channel and how much money it was making. And so this guy saw the video and he just DM'd me and he's like, "Yo, wait, what? You can make money from TikTok? How do I do that?" And so I just hopped on a like call with him on Discord and I just explained it to him. It was like probably like 30 minutes to an hour. I was like, "Yeah, you got to hit these requirements, the over a minute long on TikTok, whatever." And this guy, he was like a vet, training to be a vet at the time, posting like videos with the animals in the actual shelter that he was working at. And he started doing that and started, pulling clips from the internet of pets as well. And the next month he came back to me and he was like, "Bro, like I just made like 10 grand this month." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Hold on, what the fuck? I'm not making that much money. I just explained that to you." But that essentially, on the one hand, I think it's very easy for a lot of people to see that and go like, "Oh, I don't want to like help. If I'm gonna make this person 10 grand and get nothing from it, I don't want to do that." But on the other hand, that set the basis for a partnership that now we've both made a lot of money together from, you know? And so thank God that I helped him for free, because now I have someone who actually trusts me that when an opportunity does come my way, like when I had editors to help with this faceless stuff, we can both profit from it because there's actually a basis of trust that was set from that. And I think the same happened for you with Glitchy because you had such good trust out of 2 years of building that community that when you come out with an opportunity to really unionize marketers and actually bring everyone together, like they all want to jump on it with you.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%, man. And the people that I met from providing free value and actually putting in effort to help people out, they're people that I know for the rest of my career. I'm going to know, I'm going to work with, and I sorry, you could probably hear.
Even the dog's excited about it.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
excited too. No, that
Yeah.
it's a fact though, like 100%. The people
Hmm.
that you meet along the way that you provide value to first. Like I think a common mistake a lot of people make is they ask for value first. They always ask,
Agreed.
I want more, I want more, I want more. Right? But that doesn't build long-term connections. The people that I work with that I trust the most are people that came to me or that I went to them first and said, "Hey, I want to provide value for you."
Hmm. Hmm.
100%.
Yeah. How old are you now?
22.
That's insane. I'm 21. That's nuts. You
Well,
were on this early, man. Fuck.
yeah, man, 15 years old. Um, yeah, but and even before that, I was selling shoes. I was like doing
Hmm.
all sneaker drops and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but what I've found is that so I have maybe this will be like the last big value drop that I try to give. I don't know if you have other questions or other things, but
Mm,
this is something that has really changed my life. So I'm not, I think some people their New Year's resolution is I want to lose 10 pounds this year. I want to do this or do that. It's not that's not I think that's a lame way to do it. But
mm,
every year I've had the same resolution. Every year I've had the same goal. My goal is this year I want to learn 10 times more than I learned last year. And that
mhm,
goal has served me very well.
mm,
Every year I've been successful in it. There's a book called The Lean Startup, and it kind of talks about the importance of your goal being learning and having a feedback loop and constantly improving based on real data that you take in. And last year, the thing that I learned was how to build a real team. I mean, before
mm.
that, I had team members, I had people around me, but it was it wasn't a real team. It wasn't people that were really focused on improving something and working on something and being thinking about how do we make this product better. And last year really changed everything for me in that aspect. I'm yet to find out what I'm going to learn this year. Already learned a
Yeah.
lot. We're only a few months in.
Yeah. This is perfect because this is actually exactly what I wanted to get into because we talked I pretty much this pretty extensive actually about, what glitchy does for the user if someone wants to join glitchy. But I want to know also about you scaling this business. And you taking this business from nothing to 120 million. Crazy, just crazy. Like how did you start this website? How did you start scaling this out? How did you have a developer? Did you develop this yourself?
Well, the positioning was there, the marketers were there, and I had relationships with certain companies to source certain offers, and I got really lucky because you know, initially when I launched it, there was a company that I was working with that screwed me over and screwed a lot of my marketers over, and it gave me this fuel. It gave me like fire behind my eyes. I
Mm,
I need to build something great. I need to build something that nobody has seen before that changes the entire marketing industry. And with that like spark and that drive, um, I started going out and looking for some of the right people. And, I found that for every one person that's the right person, you're probably going to get 8 or 9 of the wrong people. I think
mm,
that's a pretty common theme, especially when you're trying to build a team. They're either, too focused on, show up at this time, leave at this time, do this, this, and this, but not going to ask for anything else. They're reactive, they're not proactive. It's either that side or the other side is that, they're maybe they are proactive, but they just they'll just some of the wrong people will just do things that surprise you that can really hurt your business. And sometimes it is better to cut that off, even if it is someone that's excited about what you're doing. Um, Now, as far as like developers, I started by working with a development agency, and then
mm,
it took a lot longer than I wanted, and they didn't build the product that I wanted.
mm.
Um, our first product was shit. In fact, on our release call where we were talking to our users explaining it, somebody literally said, "This is shit," to me in front of everyone because it wasn't like a stage, it was just a call. Someone
Mm.
literally like broke out and said, "This is shit."
Oh
And
my.
that would hurt, right? But
Yeah.
now I understand because it was shit. It was totally shit, right?
Mhm.
So then, I found some other developers that
Why
helped.
was it shit?
Um, you know, so when you're building a product Um, I actually feel very strongly that any product that's going to take a lot of work and take a lot of like sweat to go into, it's very important if you already have your customers or a group of your customers segmented, or in our instance, we already had marketers segmented that wanted our product. um, it's really important to ask them for feedback. So I feel that uniquely, what it's allowed Glitchy to get to the point where it is, where it's now a useful tool that's helping a lot of people out, is that we built it around a community. We didn't build a community around it. So
Yeah.
we had constant feedback. We had people who were excited about what we were doing. We had people that were constantly telling us what we should build and what we shouldn't
Hmm.
build. Um, and that certainly helped a lot. Now, yeah, so I had some developers, we fixed it up, right? And really towards the end of 2023 is when I would say like glitchy, the real glitchy, what it has become is really when that started working, right? Um, Before that, it was about 9, 10 months of just struggle, right?
Hmm.
And we had initial success right at the beginning, followed by just a ton of struggle. And then, I kept at it. I think a lot of people that give up too soon. I I never once thought I want to give up. I just always thought this is fucking difficult. This one hurts, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, I met a lot of the wrong people along the way. Um, I've had a developer try to destroy everything we built. I've had, people try to embezzle money from the company. I've had people try to do different things to hurt it. But I think as long as you have enough of the right people, you can always outweigh the wrong people
Hmm.
100%.
Hmm.
And I'll give you one example of this and then I'm stop my monologue. Um, so every Tuesday, we have a weekly senior leadership team call where, the heads of each side of the business are all talking. We've got our head of success, right? So that's
Hmm.
our in-app customer support. We call them the glitchy success managers. So we have the head of that department. We have the head of our offers. We have the head of our community, the head of our development. So we have everyone in this one call, and we're talking about different things. Now, the day before Christmas Eve of last year, because Christmas Eve fell on a Tuesday, I told everyone not to show up on this call. And on Christmas Eve, I clicked the link just to see, just to make sure nobody was on it. Because I wanted them to be with their
Hmm.
families.
Hmm.
Every single person was on that call. So I joined. I was like, "What are you guys doing? It's Christmas Eve. Like even if you don't celebrate it, it's a day off for you. What are you doing here?"
Hmm.
And somebody on the call actually sorry, I kicked it. Someone on the call actually apologized to me and said, "Sorry, Benny, we're just so excited about this new feature we're building. We just wanted to talk real quick. We'll get right up." The for the last 6 months, that I've carried that so close to my heart, and I just found out yesterday, this was another life-changing moment for me. One of our team members got a glitchy tattoo, like the G right here.
Hmm.
Just found out yesterday, he sent me a picture of it. Changed my life, man. I working with the right people, people that care about what you're doing, there's nothing more gratifying than that. That will carry you through all the bullshit. Steve Jobs said, about Pixar that the reason that they were successful is because all of the founders got depressed at different times, and I carry that. I feel very strongly we're all
Yeah.
people. As long as we have a clear mission in front of us, as long as, everyone is excited about what you're doing, it's going to be successful and everyone can share in that.
Yeah, that is an incredible story. It reminds me a lot of a book I read recently. It was called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, and he basically talks about how like the CEO should really be the CVO, like the Chief Visionary Officer. And that person's job is to look forward and out, and the team's job is to look, and make sure that the team that's actually focusing in on whatever is being built is aligned with the long-term mission of the actual project. And it seems like you're doing an incredible job at making sure both you and your team is all focused on the larger mission at
It's just fun, man. Building
yeah.
stuff with great people is just fun, and it's all
Yeah.
you'll never regret spending too much time working as long as you're working with the right
Mhm.
people.
Exactly, yeah. So how many people do you have at Glitchy now?
At 35.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's I guess that's small probably for how big the company is. Or is that normal size?
Well, we've talked to companies that are a lot bigger than us in terms of revenue, in different industries
Mhm.
that have, uh, a lot less people even, but I think the fundamental thing about Glitchy that makes it where, our core team doesn't have to be that big, um, is that a lot of our platform is built by our users. So what I mean by that is if they want an offer, maybe they're already running an offer somewhere else
Mhm.
and they want the highest possible payout for it, the highest possible earning per click for it, they bring that to us and we know who to reach out to.
Yeah.
We
You
reach
can
out to
negotiate that for them with the
Exactly.
whole union, yeah.
Exactly, and our squad program continuously keeps the education flowing, right? So
Mhm.
that's built by the community. The education is built by the community. We work with a lot of outside companies for different things and outside people for different things, right? But I think fundamentally, like, we're always recruiting. We're always looking for the right people. Um, it's just very hard to find the right people, especially when you're in a non-traditional setting.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the time, we'll hire people and they turn out not to be the right people, not because they don't have experience. It's because really what we're looking for is proactivity. We're looking for people who, you
Go
know,
out and, like,
go,
find stuff,
yeah,
not
and
to just
figure
wait
things
until
out.
something happens, yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of getting people to work for you, it's about finding people with the right mission. And then what about getting customers? I think you guys have how many people were you able to get in just from the 2-year community that you already had built with Glitchy?
So our community was kind of small. It was only 3,000 people at the start.
Mhm.
Um, and we did a little bit of marketing, right? Like I've gone on social, I've done different things, but that's maybe 10,000 addition to our user base.
Mhm. How many
Basic
users do you have?
150,000.
Mhm.
So basically everybody else came in through referrals. So if you look up Glitchy on YouTube,
Wow.
you'll see YouTube videos. If you look it up on TikTok, you'll see TikTok accounts. Like I saw one last night and has 50,000 followers and it's called Glitchy Mindset. And all it does is post videos and content about Glitchy. Um, so a lot of it is referrals. And I think some of the best people have come in by referrals, right? Because it's like if it's somebody who maybe they're just looking for a new way to be successful in different areas, um, that that person is going to be there's a lot higher probability of success with them
Mhm.
because they have a friend to help them out or
Mhm.
they are maybe
Yeah.
already interested in these things, right?
I think that's what I think your Glitchy has done two things absolutely geniusly. One is it's aligned all the financial incentives perfectly. So like you like Glitchy as a company, you guys have some small percentage of whatever the total offer is. Your incentive is aligned to get people making as much money as possible. The squad leaders want to get people into their squad and actually help them because they're on a financial incentive, and the referrals as well. People don't just tell people about the product and then don't care if the person makes money because you only make money if the people you refer make money. So everyone's financial incentive is perfectly aligned. So fucking genius.
Everyone wins, man.
Yeah.
Everyone
And
wins.
and two, um I think you guys have such a great way of of reducing churn and like keeping customer retention really high, because once someone actually becomes a user, uh they have there's so much nurturing going on compared to, like, again, I'm just comparing this to Partner Stack. Like I could sign on to Partner Stack, I could go and apply for these affiliate programs, and then I get the link, and then it's like well, now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you guys have worked in so many good incentives. Like you have first all the education and the squad, so there's actually a community around it. But then you also have the all the rewards that come with it. What prompted that idea?
Oh, so well, people always told us that like, they wanted a trophy. They wanted
Hmm.
different things when they hit certain milestones. And I mean, that's very much like a lot of our other features. It was the community telling us what they wanted,
Hmm.
and we reacted to that. We gave them what they wanted, whatever we could. Um, but some of them, like they're just they're out of the box, right? Like you make 25 million, you get an airplane. Like it's cool. We haven't had someone hit 25 million yet. So I guess, I it'll be good for the content, whatever that
Yeah.
happens. Right? But yeah, no, it's I think it was just the community telling us what we wanted, and to me, I thought it would be really cool. I went to a few events and a few conventions where I saw a lot of people wearing our hats, and
That's sick.
some of them, like they came up to me and they said hi. Some of
Mhm.
them, oddly enough, didn't even know who I was, and I
Yeah.
in a funny way, I kinda liked that because it was like, I feel like, wow, our brand is getting out there. People are starting to
Mhm.
know, the
Mhm.
company, and it's hard. I don't love being in the spotlight that much. I'm
Mhm.
just kind of like a solo grinder, right?
Mhm.
Um, but, seeing people loving the company for what it is, I that just
Mhm.
that, that touches.
Yeah. No, I think the rewards thing is super genius because I can't even lie. Hold on, let me like it is so irrational, but literally because of the fact that YouTube has this thing, it makes everyone I know I'm definitely one of them so much more inclined to post. And like when you have the same thing with glitchy, it's like okay, stupid little gamification. It's like okay, but that actually causes people to like, want to engage more.
Yeah, well,
Um
and the thing is that, when you are a solo entrepreneur, you're working on your own, it's very hard to unless you can somehow push yourself, it's very hard to feel that motivation to keep
mhm,
going. And I
mhm.
think like sometimes all people need is these additional things. So even in the squads, right? It's like the squad leaders will reach out to them. Hey man, how's it going? Are you pushing? Is there something we can do to help? We have
Yeah.
people from our team that do that every day. And it's just I've had it happen to me before where I had something that was working perfect. That all I had to do was log into an ad account, turn on a few campaigns, and I just wouldn't do it. It's just
Mhm.
it's part of the game.
Yeah, 100%. So, how do you come up with like how much your company is valued at this point?
So I actually
How is
don't
that
know.
determined?
I actually don't know how much it's valued at.
Mhm.
I know the revenue that we're gonna hit. I don't know how much it's valued at in terms of like if somebody were to acquire it. Although we're very specifically not looking for.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't seem
Um,
like that would be in your cards anytime
Yeah, I mean,
soon.
like so to me it's valued at uh it's the world, right? I
Yeah.
love it, right? But we're in the middle of we're doing a 409A valuation, so we're going to see what that looks like and
Mhm.
but it's it's difficult because I think specific companies it's like if there was an acquisition, which we're not going to do, but if there was in this kind of vertical, it would have to be a specific kind of buyer. So,
Mhm.
in terms of what it's so here, I'll share something. So this is something that I've been working on with the team. Until recently, we kept it kind of under wraps, but I'd love to share it. And this is something that I think is the true value behind the long term vision of Glitchy. So marketers come to us, and a lot of times they don't know where to start. So we give them the tools and the different things that they might need to start, right? So once somebody hits a certain amount of revenue, a lot of times they want to go start their own company. Now, what's phenomenal about what we've built is that, so for instance, one of our top marketers on Glitchy is creating their own app. And
Mhm.
we said, okay, great. We can invest in your app. We can help you with developing your app. We can help you with anything on the business side that you need. But In addition to that, the main value proposition is that you don't have to worry about user acquisition. We'll put you right on the top of our featured page. We'll post
Yeah.
case studies. We'll help other marketers in marketing your product. So
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
the end of the glitchy level system is a
Mhm.
startup incubator. That's really what I've always envisioned.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what I've always wanted
It's
it
like
to.
an open it's kind of like an open source startup incubator kind of.
Yeah, and well, you know who I would trust the most if I was going to invest in somebody's business? A marketer.
Mhm.
100%. Because marketers uniquely are able to make any company successful. As
Yeah.
long as they're a good marketer, as long as they've proven that they can market in different verticals and they can
Mhm.
get different things profitable, they'll always find a way to be successful. So they're also uniquely the best people to teach other people, up and
Mhm.
coming marketers, how to market their product.
Yeah. Do you know Rory Sutherland?
I can say I do.
He's a pretty popular marketer, but he talks and writes a lot about like a lot of hilarious different kind of like psychological things. But he puts it like this. Like most people think that the way you make money is you find out what people want and you come up with a creative way to make it. But you can also make money by finding out what you can make and find a creative way to make people want it. And the value between the two, like the monetary value, is indistinguishable between the two. And like a lot of people, I kind of see this at like the entrepreneurship staff, or classes at my school. I feel like a lot of time are really obsessed with the first one. Like, oh, is there demand for your product? Is there, you know what I mean? But rarely do I see people talk as much about the second form, which is like, well, yeah, there was a guy that got rich selling pet rocks. Like, dude, if you can make people want something, it doesn't matter what the product is, even.
Yeah, man. No, I think the power of marketing is just something that, I mean, we talked about it at the beginning, and I think that the reason 98% of startups fail is because they don't know properly, not just how to market to get customers, because your product might not be ready to get
Mm-hmm.
customers right now,
Mm-hmm.
but how to use marketing to improve your product, right? You market 2 different landing pages with 2 slightly different renditions of the product.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it, the book, The Lean Startup, it changed my life. It was amazing, right? It teaches A/B testing. It teaches the importance of always making sure to verify the concepts
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of focusing on learning first. And in the instance of somebody who's trying to market something, anything, it's really just you got to think about different angles, different audience groups that you might want to target, and you've really got to put everything into trying out these
Mm-hmm.
these different things, right? Until you get something to work, and then once it works, you got to be constantly thinking about how do I make it even better.
Mm-hmm. And you're constantly improving. How to date? Do you know how much money has Glitchy made other people?
So we've made our users collectively have made over 50 million to date. Um,
That's phenomenal.
and this year our users are going to make over 120 million. So and it's an honor and a privilege. I've loved
That's
every second,
insane.
and
Yeah.
this journey has completely changed my life, and it's changed the way that I've looked at um, what a company should be, what a culture should be, and
Mhm.
how close you should really be to the people that are using your product.
Mhm. That is incredible, and like again, that must be the most fulfilling part of this whole journey. If someone listening wants to start Glitchy, what are the steps they can take? Like as a user, what should they do?
Well, you come in and you learn the different ways that you can leverage marketing and you can leverage the different offers available.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's all on the Discord, right? So you
yeah,
log
it's
into
all
Glitchy,
there.
make an
It's all
account.
there, and
Yeah.
then soon it's going to be in the app. So, below
Mhm.
every offer page, there will be tagged guides. So this is coming out very soon. Um, and in addition to that, we also have free mentorship. So you can hop on calls, people will help you out. Um, Now, for somebody just starting, it's really just a choice of organic versus paid.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose paid, then we have funding available. If you choose organic, there's great guidance available. Um, and there's even more that we're releasing every day. So, um, yeah, that's the way I would say to start. And you know, I think just kind of looking outside the box and not being copy paste is something that I really value in somebody coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the people that I've seen that do things a little bit differently are the ones that achieve ultimate success. Whether it's you do something a little differently in terms of building a team. One of our guys has an entire 20-person team scaling his ads under him. That's just like I can't even fathom all the stuff that they're doing, creative process, UGC create, like all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. Um, and I've also seen people take really different angles. I've seen people, leverage kind of guerrilla marketing in a way. Like
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about the milk thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
random stuff that you really wouldn't expect to convert. Um, yeah, that's really what I would say to that.
Benny, this has been a phenomenal podcast. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you.
And yeah, peace.
Phenomenal, man. Have a good one.